First and foremost, I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakah, Kodash. I would also like to give a double honors unto the apostles and the elder bishops of Great Millstone who do rule well, that have taught me this truth. And I would also like to say a sincere shalom unto the hopeful elect, unto the scattered elect, unto the brothers and prophets, the men that are prophesying and laboring in this truth and in this doctrine. Unto you I say shalom. Plowshares into swords and pruning hooks into spears. Okay, and that's a direct scripture from Joel 3 and 8. All right, and that's what's taking place here in Babylon. According to Trump, the war is already over and they obliterated. Iran is holding on their last leg, but apparently that ain't the case, because I get the Pentagon apparently asked automakers GM and Ford and other American manufacturers to start weapons production reminiscent of practices used during World II. All right, so what does that tell you? What that should show that this ain't going nowhere. This war is not going nowhere. What is that? Third world cometh quickly. I think it's Revelation 14 and 11 and 14. The second woe is past, and behold, the third woe cometh quickly. That third world war is coming in our lifetime. Okay, and I got a few more tweets. Breaking Pentagon approaches. GM and Ford and other large auto manufacturers discussing shifting from auto development to weapons and military supply production. So they're putting all their resources into war. All right, that's what these various nations, Russia, Iran, North Korea, China. All right, yeah, China, yeah, they produce everything, but they've been putting their money, their resources into war. Okay, because they understood during the Cold War what needed to take place. It was an arms race to try to what? To try to catch up and beat America and eventually defeat America, and that's what they've done. Okay, like they people may have to suffer, but they had to suffer in their minds for a righteous cause, and according to the Heavenly Father, is a righteous cause for these nations to take out Babylon, because the Lord said He's assembled the nations, all right, for His pleasure, all right. Let me go to this next one. It says, what kind of escalation are they planning with the war in Iran? The federal government hasn't paid out defense contracts to automakers since World War II. All right, this is that demon Marjorie Taylor Greene. All right, so she completely flipped. All right, she was pro MAGA. Now she's all she's exposing, not exposing, but she's talking a bunch of shit. Odd things to ask for. Odd thing to ask for a war that is over. Like I said, you can't believe nothing this devil says as it pertains to anything, but especially this war, because he's going to try to cover it up and make you, to not scare the people, to take their money out of the banks and not invest and to try to boost the economy. But they're asking GM, Ford, and other auto manufacturers to, don't produce this many cars a day, produce this many weapons or this many whatever they need. Okay, turning their factories into which were producing cars or various other machines or whatever, to producing weapons, because hey, they know that this war is not going to go away. They know that this conflict, they call it a conflict or operation, whatever, is going to snowball into a global war. So excuse me. Let me get let me go from there to Joel 3. Start at the top. For behold, in those days and in that time, when I shall bring again the captivity of Judah and Jerusalem, meaning the Lord is going to bring again our captivity, meaning we're going to be freed from this captivity. I will also gather all nations, and I will bring them down into the valley of Jehoshaphat, and will plead with them there for my people and for my heritage Israel, whom they have scattered among the nations and have parted my land. So the Lord is going to plead, meaning judge these nations for his heritage Israel because of what they've done to the apple of the Most High's eye, how they treated us, how they enslaved us, how they cut us off from our heritage, or how they, like I said, beat our heritage up out of us. Let me jump down to verse 8. No, verse 9, excuse me. Proclaim ye among the Gentiles, prepare war. Wake up the mighty man, let all the men of war draw near, let them come up. And the nations have been waking up their mighty men. You got people that were born to fight in this war. That's their only existence, is they were born to be in the military and fight in this world's war, or wherever different nation they're from. Okay? Beat your plowshares into swords and your pruning hooks into spears. Let the weak say, I am strong. All right, so that's putting all of your resources into things of war that pertain to the war, whether it be weapons, whether it be tanks, whatever it may be. Okay, that's what is going on right now. And America is following suit right after these various nations. All right, that are coming up upon them, not backing down, not willing to take a deal, not exiting the Strait of Hormuz when they see a American battleship. Okay, because the weak is saying they're strong now. All right, meaning they're standing up to the bully. Okay, and once one person stands up to the bully, you're going to have multiple nations stand up to the bully eventually. Okay, and this bully Esau, he's going to fight even though he's a coward. All right, let me go to 11. Assemble yourselves and come up, all ye heathen, and gather yourselves together round about. Thither, cause thy mighty ones to come up, O Lord. Let the heathens be wakened and come up to the valley of Jehoshaphat, for there will I sit to judge all the heathen round about. All right, so the Lord is stirring this up. Okay, to make these nations come down there to the valley of Jehoshaphat so he can judge them. Okay, so this war is not going anywhere. All right, don't believe Esau Media, MSNBC, CNN. They give you that fluff, that fluff type of news, But they're not gonna get. You're not gonna get the full scoop. You're not gonna get none of the scoop from these different networks because they're bought and paid for by the Edomites. They're bought and paid for by the so-called Jew. All right, but they bought all the media. Okay, all the newspapers, all the magazines, all the your local, your national news. They own all of it. So they're not going to tell you. They're going to tell. They're going to speak on the operation in Iran right now. This, that. They don't want to scare you, but the prophets are going to give it to you straight. Okay, that there is going to be a world's war in this time. All right, but America doesn't win this war. Okay, because all these different various wars, America, went in there, whether it be Afghanistan, Iraq, even though they didn't really win the Vietnam, various different wars of conflicts America's been in. They just went over there and set up shop and did what the hell they wanted to do, but not this war. All right, not this time. Okay, because it's not in the cards, it's not in prophecy for this devil to win, for this devil to prevail. I'm gonna go from there from Zephaniah 3 and 8. And it reads, "Therefore wait ye upon me, saith the Lord, until the day that I rise up to the prey. For my determination is to gather the nations, that they may assemble the kingdoms, to pour upon them my indignation, even all my fierce anger, for all the earth shall be devoured with the fire of my jealousy." All right, so the Lord is, like I said, the Lord is gathering all these nations. The Lord is making Esau, America, Babylon, all right, begin to mass produce, various weapons. All right, maybe they're taking a note out of Iran's book, where they just producing these multiple drones. They can produce maybe 10,000 drones a day, and they just they're flooding their what is it called, their missile defense systems, all right, where they're just, when those missiles defense system is activated, it shoots out missiles to deflect the incoming drones or whatever, whatever's coming in. But when those missile defense systems become depleted, they're pretty much useless. And then it's open season on Israel. It's open season on these various military bases in the Middle East, that at least the ones that are left. All right. Let me go from there. I want to get not Acts, Isaiah, Isaiah 14. Let's see, 14 and yes, 14. I'll start at 10. All that all they that shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become weak as we? Art thou become like unto us? Hey, right now Esau is Babylon. America has become like unto these heathen nations, where they gotta, their their um their missile defense systems in various other parts have been depleted. All right, so they gotta, change those Ford and GM factories. All right, to factories to produce things of war. All right, so they really become lower than these nations, because these nations, America is always, boasted as the top nation, top military. No one can mess with them. But now, and America's, looking vulnerable. Okay, America's the one calling for a ceasefire. Before, you have these nations saying, okay, we had enough, ceasefire. No, America's calling for the ceasefire, because under Trump, they don't know what to do. All right, verse 11. Thy pomp is brought down to the grave. And pomp represents, is their pride. Okay, it's brought down to the grave, and the noise of thy vials, the worms is spread under thee, and the worms cover thee. And the worms represent decay. Okay, what's the word? Um, I can never say it. Um, decomposition, not deep. What's the word? Um, yeah, yeah. Uh, decompose. Okay, I believe. I think that's the word. Where it's rotted. It's not rotted. Yeah, it's rotted. It's decomposing. Yeah, pretty much. All right, death. Okay, that's what the worms represent. Okay, and all that, and all they shall shall speak and say unto thee, art thou become? Oh, Salaki, I read that. Verse 12. How art thou fallen, O heaven, O Lucifer, son of the morning? How art thou cut down to the ground, which didst weaken the nations? All right, and Lucifer represents light bearer. All right, and Esau is the light bearer on the left hand side, because they have the knowledge of on the left hand to rule in wickedness, to deceive in wickedness. Okay, but they're going to fall. It says they're going to fall. How art thou fallen from heaven? All right, meaning from rulership. All right, Esau is going to be stripped from their rulership, okay, and their deception, and their pride. All right, for thou hast said in thy heart, I will ascend into heaven, and I will exalt my throne above the stars of the Most High. Okay, Slakia. So let me go from there to because this war is going to happen. All right, you may have things is kind of calm right now. All right, where ain't too much going on. You got the so-called blockage that Trump did with the Navy, which was easily defeated by Iran. All right, so he ain't really got shit going on right now. But I heard a report that America needed the 2 weeks to what is it called, reload those various missile defense system, so they could start getting the war back cracking. Okay, but they know they got to come hard. That's why they're deploying a lot of the troops over there are deploying over to that area. And I don't know if they're gonna go on the ground of ground troops, but hey, that's what Iran wants. Okay, they want that smoke. They're waiting for that smoke. Okay, and as this thing escalates, all right, you're gonna. Hey, Russia wants to smoke. China wants to smoke. Okay, and really the allies of America, they don't want no smoke. All right, they don't want to enter into a war. Okay, but they're going to be brought in. They could be brought into the war through NATO, the Article 5. All right, but hey, they don't want to fight for Israel. All right, that's a sentiment amongst the EU and the NATO nations. They don't want to fight for the small hats. Okay, but hey, this war is not going anywhere. Okay, only one that's going to end this war is Yahawashi when he comes back and puts all these nations into subjection. Okay, um, yeah, I can get this wars and rumors of wars because this is the times we're living in where you're going to hear of wars and rumors of wars. You're going to hear of different nations linking up and becoming allies. All right, what is this? What does it saying? Say uh, 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 enemy of my enemy is my friend or something like that. Okay, so a lot of these nations are going to put their differences aside to come up against Babylon. Okay, it's Matthew 24 and 6. And ye shall hear of wars and rumors of wars. See that ye be not troubled, for all these things must come to pass, but the end is not yet. Okay, so we're hearing, it ain't even no rumors no more. We the prophets see what the hell is going on. Okay, we see that it's just a few countries right now. Of course, Yemen, they're smaller, but they want to get their hands dirty. They want to get their hands on the small hats. All right, of course, Lebanon, all right, which been catching hell within this past week or the beginning of this so-called ceasefire. They ready to get their hands dirty and get of course Gaza, all right, and of course Iran, all right. So you got smaller countries right now, but they are already outnumbered, all right, in a way, as far as the different countries. But shit's going to get bad, and then you're going to have a draft, okay? And I can't wait till that draft happens because you're going to have a lot of these little young niggas that's going to be AWOL, going to leave America, and Trump ain't going to let them out, okay? Trump ain't let nobody out. Trump put an APB out on these young niggas, okay? Or you just block off the cities. All right, hey, the draft may come when it's some form of martial law. We don't know, okay? But war is imminent, okay? And you better prepare because you Jake doesn't understand how war affects a society, okay? Where the cost of living it rises, okay? It's more tension and it's more especially in these times, it's more anxiety. It's more people crashing out. People are already crashing out. Okay, so how much more when this nation is at war? All right, where and people don't know the direction of where this nation is going, and the prophets know. The prophets know, hey, this place is the only place. This place is going down. Okay, and we see the writing on the wall. All right, and and we're going to continue to chant this place down until the missiles come and the chariots come. All right. So, Lord willing, this lesson was edifying unto the elect, and I want to give all praise, glory, and honor unto Yahawah, Bahasham, Yahawashi, Bahasham, Harakakudash. Shalom.